Morgan, Citigroup, and tobacco giant Philip Morris. I&M operates that union under a lease and operating agreement that expires in December 2022. And we have documents in your press packets that include some excerpts from the lease as well as a letter that shows who the owners are. AEP-Rockport is a huge power plant that's also a huge tax write-off. And by owning and depreciating Unit 2, these corporate owners can avoid or reduce their income taxes despite their huge corporate profits. In recent years, a number of national tax watchdog groups have criticized AEP, GE, Verizon, Citigroup, and Philip Morris for not paying their fair share of taxes by taking advantage of loopholes in federal tax law. These groups include Citizens for Tax Justice and Americans for Tax Fairness. As an example, these organizations found that GE was not paying any federal income tax for several years, and one of the ways they do that is by owning a power plant.
More than one billboard in Fort Wayne, or is this the only one?
Now, with this lease expiring in December 2022, this is a time for I&M to make decisions. We know they cannot close the plant overnight. They can't just shut it down overnight, but they should be starting to plan now to gradually phase out the Rockport plant when the lease expires and transition to less expensive and cleaner energy in I&M communities like Fort Wayne. So I&M needs to start doing that planning now. I&M's own 20-year energy plan last year showed that it would be less costly to phase out half of the Rockport plant and invest in cleaner energy in I&M communities than to adopt I&M's plan to keep burning coal at AEP-Rockport. By phasing out coal over time and investing in local clean energy right here in Fort Wayne, they can bring prosperity here. The benefits would include local jobs, brownfield development, energy security, better local property tax base, more efficient homes and businesses, and wind energy in the rural communities that surround this area. So we say I&M needs a plant that benefits communities in Fort Wayne and not its corporate buddies. And I'd like to introduce now Kerwin Olson, who's Executive Director of Citizens Action Coalition.
Greetings, I am Kerwin Olson, as Jody said, Executive Director of Citizens Action Coalition, an advocacy organization working on behalf of utility consumers before the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and as well as down at the Indiana State House. The customers of Indiana-Michigan Power need to know that I&M wants to force them to foot the bill for the AEP-Rockport power plant in southern Indiana so I&M and other wealthy corporations can continue making billions of dollars at their expense. In order to keep the Rockport coal plant operating into the future, I&M wants to force their customers to pay for $3 billion in pollution control for the next 12 years at the AEP-Rockport plant, plus billions more for out-of-state coal. None of those investments will do anything to reduce carbon pollution or meet federal clean power requirements. That's a costly risk I&M customers can't afford to take and certainly shouldn't be forced to take. I&M does their best to scare their customers about the costs involved in transitioning to sustainable energy and energy efficiency, while at the same time they want customers to believe that spending billions of dollars on coal is somehow different. Let's be clear, everything costs money. Furthermore, this is public money we're talking about. I&M is a public utility funded by public ratepayer dollars. They have an obligation as a state franchise monopoly to spend that public money in a reasonable, responsible, and prudent manner to benefit the public interest. Continuing to throw good money after bad is not in the public interest. It's time to stop wasting billions of ratepayer dollars in yesterday and instead invest in tomorrow. Communities like Fort Wayne need I&M, their public utility, to generate local jobs and investment, not shelters for taxpayers. Compared to growing economies in Indianapolis and Columbus, the metro areas around Fort Wayne, South Bend, and Muncie have lost jobs in the last 15 years, according to a study by the University of Indianapolis. We can do better. Instead of continuing to pad the pockets of already wealthy Wall Street investors by sinking billions of public money into a coal plant nearly 300 miles from where we stand today, we call on I&M to invest in the communities they serve in a meaningful way by spending the money they're collecting every month in these communities on sustainable energy and energy efficiency, which will create local jobs that can't be outsourced, which will directly benefit the communities that I&M serves, and will help to revive the economy of these communities by spending their public money responsibly and prudently and in a manner which will truly benefit the public interest. Thank you.
To choose and use ingredients in our packaging and in our products that are environmentally friendly, recyclable, and biodegradable. We also strive to conserve in the production of our products. Energy from coal does not match with our values as business owners. Clean Energy in Northeast Indiana would help us to expand as a regional company and hopefully a national company with a solid environmental focus, both within our business and within our location. As a business in Northeast Indiana, we want to see solid, valuable jobs come to this area. Clean energy would provide those jobs and boost our local economy, bringing both innovation and support to small businesses. Finally, as a taxpayer, both as an individual Hoosier and as a small business owner, I believe it is our collective responsibility to take ownership in our community. Big corporations working together to require higher payment both of the individual consumer and of the small business owner is not a responsible relationship with our community. It does not bring growth to add to Northeast Indiana in any positive way. I encourage change and I encourage clean energy to come to Northeast Indiana. Thank you.
And then finally, Kimberly Kozan, local pastor.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Kimberly Kozan. I live, work, and raise my daughter in Fort Wayne. Through work and volunteering, I do what I can to contribute to a healthy, thriving community. And I see so many of our Indiana citizens also doing their part to serve the greater good. As teachers, first responders, social workers, health professionals, and so many more. Fort Wayne is the great city it is because musicians and artists bring creativity. Volunteers restore our rivers, preserve our lands, and shelter animals, just for a start. Instead of shirking responsibility for making the community its best, I get to witness the daily generosity of spirit that makes our citizens wonderful as they display this generosity. My family aims to be responsible, compassionate citizens who live in harmony with one another and with the resources available to us. We've lost trust that mega corporations have the best interest of the people in mind. When I look into the records of our country's largest corporations, I'm appalled that monetary profits trump all other concerns. Responsible citizens living in love and acting in faith take sometimes meager household earnings and make a full life. A full life by meeting lean budgets and living generously for our neighbors' good and the Earth's benefit. Attention to people, planet, and profit does not have to be mutually exclusive and certainly should not be. My church family at Beacon Heights Church of the Brethren is a congregation that has been living out a commitment to care of God's creation, in part by generating energy with our solar panels and energy reduction. We nourish neighbors through our food bank with produce we grow in our church garden. We give financially to those in need. We do what we can, and we expect that the corporations that make their home here will do what they can to serve the people too. Indiana Michigan Power is an electric utility that is given monopoly status by the state of Indiana and is expected to serve the public's interest for safe, reliable, affordable power. We are weary of having the burden placed on our citizens to pay for an antiquated coal power plant and asking nothing of the 5 corporations who have been leasing the AEP-Rockport plant to I&M. While Verizon, Philip Morris, General Electric, Citigroup, and JP actually get a tax break by owning the plant, citizens are being asked to put more and more of the bill to keep running a plant when it should be retired. Corporate greed does not speak for the values of our community. This plant no longer serves us well. It does not serve our public health, and most certainly does not serve our public wealth. Preserving our natural resources is more important than lining the pockets of corporations that are already too big. Making further demands on families around the region while letting massive corporations get even richer through tax break loopholes may not be legally criminal, but it most certainly is not ethical. Let's stop straining our citizens' already tight budgets and start restraining tax loopholes that only benefit the wealthy corporations. I&M President Paul Chodak, you must give us a plan that is phasing out the AEP-Rockport plant and start investing right here in Fort Wayne and other I&M communities. Thank you.
And I would just close by noting that the billboard has a website where people can get more information about the campaign. It's sc.org/IM4Clean Energy. And I would ask everyone here to send a message to I&M President Paul Chodak by joining with me in saying I am for clean energy.